Now the same thing happened here. I was like, yeah, I'm looking for opportunities to buy this market to the opposite, but price didn't actually come to touch the trend line at all. Price didn't, okay, it did. Can you see that? Beautiful. Can you see that? Breakout retest. The same thing here. So this particular trend line is one of my favorite trend lines. Hello, can you guys see me? Can you guys see
Yep,
this?
can hear, I can hear.
Okay, good. This is my favorite trend line because this trend line means that okay, the trend has started. There's been a break. There's a trend that has started. Right. So on entirely price needs to break outside this zone before you can consider it to be like a change of market direction. So we have this, we still have that. That's why I remember in one of my daily analysis, right? I mentioned, if you go back, I mentioned that I was expecting price to come and touch this level right here, but price did not even come to touch this level. That's the reason why I don't trust this broker sometimes, but they eventually had an opportunity to trade the market because now if you look at these guys, that is a 4 hour zone, 4 hours, 4 hour zone. Am I correct? That's a 4 hour zone. And price rejected that zone, was unable to change storyline. That's why we didn't come down here. Still, price was unable to come down here. And price broke that level, finally broke this level. So I was like, okay, fine. This is where I'm buying to. Right? This is where I'm buying to. That is why, if you check my stories that day, I posted that price was going to come down to this level. I had my befores and after. I knew that price was going to retest this level and head down to this top. And overall, I knew that if price should break this level, we are heading towards our daily fucking zone. Our daily fucking zone on daily. Can you see that? So that NFP, I knew that NFP was buying. I knew like we're buying, and this break of structure here confirmed that okay, yeah, this is like this is what I'm buying to. So now you know that this is support. This is support. Price broke out, came back and retest. We wanted to be selling down, but there was no reason to sell. And then what happened? Price broke that zone. I was like, oh yeah, this is I'm buying when price comes down to the 50% of that candle. And now price came back to the 50% of that. Now the thing is basically, once you have the right break of structure, trust me, once you have the right break of structure, price may not come back to your 15%, like 50%, but it literally just reacts and starts buying. But the thing is, coming down to a 50% will make price to go like really, really far because that's a very balanced price. Just like this. When this break happened here, I was expecting price to come back to like the middle of this candle to start selling from. And besides, we had this trend line here, first of all. Price never retested that trend line. This is one of the validation I have for like a breakup structure trend line. So now price was supposed to respect it, but it's supposed to tap this line and buy. But it did what? It broke the structure. And then at the retest of this zone, you're gonna be selling the market down.
Yeah, I just want to ask one thing. This at this point, right here, price broke, right?
Yeah,
Then there's a retest up here, price goes bullish.
right.
So only if it breaks here, then you're considered selling. Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
You mean to sell down to this level?
No, as in now this support broke, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So supposedly we are selling 50% of this candle, right?
This 50% of this red candle.
Yeah.
Price
Also, price
already
goes bullish
now
up here.
now price already came down to like a very major zone. Look at this. You guys know Khabib. Khabib does this a lot. Now, price went through, retested, went through, went through. This is a retest. of that zone, of the zone, which means that it's a strong zone. Price retested that zone. That is now at this point. Now, for price to break one straight line down, it is definitely straight to our TP zone. That's what I'm always telling you guys, that it's definitely straight to our TP zone. Now, you can't find profits as a result level at a result level. So what you're going to be looking for is to find an entry against this level. Now, it's only when we have, now if price had engulfed this, if price had engulfed this candle, that's when we're looking for like a major sales. So if you wanted to catch something down to this level, goes down to H4 time frame. H4.
Adam,
Yeah.
do you use when you are on charter, do you wait only for H1 closure, or do you also wait for M15, M5, M1, something like that?
I basically wait for H1 closure, and then I wait for my M15 engulfing to form. Like M15 is basically like my last zone of consideration. Like I'll just wait for M15 engulfing to form or M15 break to form.
So you don't wait for M15 to close and M5 engulfing.
No. Now I will only wait
So-
for I will only wait for M15. For example, if I have a long candle like this, let's say this is M15 and this is where I want price to break, right? I can play M5 because the zones are very long. I can have like a good buying opportunity against that zone. But if price is supposed to come down here, it's supposed to buy down here on M15, why can't you just wait for the engulfing to happen itself? Because if you have an entry here, this is going to be like a very small pips. Do you understand what I mean? But the purpose of having an early entry is in case price break this zone and never come back.
So basically, you're looking at your charts only every 1 hour.
1 hour. That's what I've told you guys. I've been telling you guys, like my phone has this thing that keeps ringing every 1 hour. I have an alarm. I have an alarm for 4 hours. Like 4 hours is really important. 4 hours. 4 hours is really important to me because if you basically look at all the 4 hours break of structure, they are so strong. Like they are really, really strong. Price was unable to break the zone. Right? And then when he broke the zone, what do you see? Just went through. And eventually, since price now, in terms of SNL, now when I learned SNL from AKFX, he said that this zone can be tested. He drew something like this and said the zone can be tested only once, right? Or twice. For me, in terms of engulfing, since it's like I have like a zone to play with, we can actually test that zone a lot of times. Now, we tested. Now, what I can say now, price tested is zone close as a bullish candle. In this situation, you can disregard this and use this. Now, price came down here, unable to break this, came back here, unable to break this, came back again. You can use this. And as you can see, here, right, price broke above this level. Price broke above that level. Price broke above that level. And trust me, I would have expected price to come down, like to test this level, third touch to buy. But this right here is definitely not like what I would advise you to trade, because this is basically what I trade. And if price should break this level right here, this would have been your entry. But this is 4 hours, like damn, and you have a long candlestick here. So you rather play H1 if you have an H1 continuation trend line. Now H1 came back and closed inside the zone. Now this is me basically analyzing every single move in the markets. Basically, you look for just one clean setup for the day in the London sessions or in the New York sessions. So if I begin my London session and within 2 hours, I don't have a clear setup, that means the rest of the London session is going to be messed up. So I'll wait for New York. Now, before New York session, right? Before New York session, you have your things in place. You've checked what market has done. And basically you're just looking for an entry reason to head down to your direction for that day. So, like I said, basically, SNL break of structure to me is more valuable because that is where the idea of engulfing failed plus engulfing comes from. Like, for example, this is an engulfing, right? And let's say we didn't have a red candle here. Let's say we didn't have. Let's say we didn't have a red candle here, right? And then let's say we didn't have a red candle here. And then we have this break. This would have been engulfing failed plus engulfing, which is a very strong setup. Have you guys heard about the engulfing failed plus engulfing? I've mentioned that to you guys, right?
Magic setup.
Magic setup. Magic setup. So now, despite the fact that we had an engulfing failed here, right? Price failed to make this engulfing. If price are closed above this red line, this resistance zone, it should have been engulfing failed plus engulfing. Do you guys understand what I'm even explaining right now? So SNL,
Yeah, okay.
so to me, engulfing is really important in terms of SNL because it means that price has completely, violated that structure. In other words, price has violated that structure. And that is the reason why price came back 50% and you're buying. This basically happens 1 or 2 times in the market, either on 15 minutes, either on 30 minutes, either on 1 hour. You see, your aim is just to capitalize like the current market movement for that D. That is your aim. Guys, look at this with me. This is Bitcoin. 12 months time frame. Right? I will show you guys my before and after. I took this. I had a screenshot. I think that was like 2 months ago about Bitcoin going to 40,000, and this Bitcoin is definitely heading to 46,000. Why? Because when price reacted off this level, right here, if you go down to your 12 months, let's change it to 12 months. 12 months, right? Price. I knew that price was going to head down to this level right here. Can you guys see that level? This level right here. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So now basically it's just like saying price was reacting off this monthly engulfing sell and price is coming back to this monthly engulfing buy zone. So now price is reacting, price closed inside those zones, and then you play 3 months. You want 3 months to break. Now, first of all, ask yourself, where do you want 3 months to break? This is where 3 months is supposed to break. And 3 months also closed as a bullish candle. 3 months. So your job is to have an early entry against this zone. So if this zone is to break, you know that this is where you're heading to. So now basically, we had a monthly break of structure. Monthly close also closed as a bearish candle. So that means you're going to look for an early entry against this monthly zone. And that is the reason why monthly. And that's the reason why when that monthly happened, broke this structure. This is like the last zone on monthly that we wanted market to break. Market broke that zone. We tested the 50% of the candle. Was it up to 50%? I think it was up to 50. We acted from the 50% of that candle. And then price was buying. Basically, price was buying. And now, if you go back to your 3 months, now remember to our 12 months. Let me take this off. On our 12 months, just like you have this zone here on 12 months, I refined that zone to 3 months. Now for 3 months, it is obvious that it has aligned. This is when you hear 12 months time frame, 3 months. How many of you have watched AKFX here? Like, can you guys?
Yeah, I've watched his first 3 videos.
Yeah, first 3 videos. Like, yeah, to be very honest with you guys, AKFX is like AKFX is good. He's like really good, right? But I always doubted external break of structures. Like, I've always doubt. Now, how can this be a break? They say this is a break to the downside, but to me, this is not a break of structure. Like, this is a break. This red candle has broken this zone. No, to me, it's not a break of structure. Price is still inside this zone. It's not that you're not seeing it on this time frame. Do you understand? So obviously, this is 3 months zone refined from 12 months. It's exactly the same zone, which means the strong zone. And besides, you can see that this zone was tested, came back and broken out of. Price rejected this zone. This was the nearest zone for price to head down to. Price head down here and was unable to change monthly storyline. And then this has been broken out of. This zone has been broken out of automatically. Now, what price is doing here, right, is basically a retest of this zone. And price retesting that zone on a 3 months time frame. On a 3 months time frame means that this is where I want to buy the market to. And if this zone is being broken out of, if this zone should be broken out of, right? I know very well that this is where I am heading to. This zone here. That is where I'm heading to. So now price may eventually want to, actually, follow this trend line. Like, we have a retest of this trend line and then straight to this level. Now, fine. Price closed inside the zone. So we look for like H1, a monthly break of structure. Now ask yourself, first of all, where did you think price needed to break? This is where price is supposed to break. But in this scenario, price also closed as a bullish candle on monthly. Now, this is a support being formed. Do you know that? This is a support being formed. Now, AKFX can say you can straight up buy from this level to this level, right? But for me, right, I will only buy this market. This is what I like doing. Whenever I see a bullish candle forming like this, like a bullish candle when I'm going down, a bullish candle forming like this, right? This is the support. So I'll put a line here. And like, okay, now what if I wanted to buy the market here? What would have been my criteria going down to weekly? I'd have been like, okay, fine. This is where I wanted price to break. Am I correct? This is where I wanted price to break. Am I correct? And then what happened was price couldn't break that zone. This zone now formed, and eventually price broke this zone. Let me go back to monthly and place my line there so that I won't get confused. Go back to my weekly. So which means that this is the closure. This is the closure of price. This is the closure of price, right? So I was like, okay, fine. Price has broken this level. Price has broken this level, and this is like, since price retested and couldn't push back, right? That means sellers had the opportunity to dominate the market for a while, right? So I'm like, okay, fine. So I was like, if price should break this entire level and closes outside, right? I'll be targeting 50% of that candle, plus the fact that I have this trend line here. So 50% of that candle. Price respected the 50% of that candle, and that is the reason why price has been buying like massively. You guys, hello?
Can I ask you another question?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's imagine this is. Can you go on the right in order to have a whiteboard for me to draw?
What?
Can you go on the right? On the right, so I have a clean chart to draw.
Okay.
Imagine we have that candle on H1,
Okay.
and on M15 you have something like that,
Okay.
and that one is the SNR zone that you need to be that
Broken out
needs
of.
to be,
Yeah.
but that zone coincides with that zone.
Uh-huh.
Is your take profit?
Like what you're saying is what you're saying is I have this H1 zone, right? This
Yeah,
is H1, bearish or bullish.
bearish.
So now this is our target, right? So as I'm going down to my H1, right? The engulfing zone, in terms of engulfing, the engulfing zone with this is the zone that price needs to break, right? So obviously, right, price is like this. You're talking about if price is like this, right? Now your job, price closing as a bearish. Okay, now price close like this, bearish on 1 hour, and you're stepping down to H1. This zone, right? This is definitely going to be it. So that means if you have a zone that price engulfs, right? You're basically buying that market to this level. And if this level is not being broken out of, price will continue going down. Do you understand?
But what if this one is M15 and this one is M5?
M5, this one is M15, this one is M5, right?
Yeah.
Now, M15 now, can you see that? Can you see that this is a, like, let's say this is a long candle. Now, basically, now if you can actually, it will be very rare for us to see another buy candle coming and fully engulfs it. Right? If it was like M15 long candle. But if the M15 was a short candle like this, you can actually wait for that to happen. Now, if the M15 was a long candle, just like what I'm talking about is the long candle, just like this zone right here. If the M15 was like this, you can play M5 to this level. Is that what you're asking?
Wait a second.
Like they say this is M15 closure. M15 close as a bullish candle,
Yeah.
as a bearish candle.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you see it is long, right? So you can actually play M5 against this level. Now, if it was like this, there is no point of playing. If it was like this, you just wait for the engulfing to happen itself.
Okay, so you have to go on M5 and wait for M5
Yeah, like
SNR breakout.
SNR break to buy. Now in this situation, price close like this. You can actually wait for price to form an engulfing. And after forming an engulfing, 50% would have been buying from the 50% to the upside. But if you wanted to be like a very clean scalper, like you want to catch every moves in the market, like, okay, fine. Let me specify that zone. Okay, is it a recent zone? Okay, yeah, so I can go back. Wait, this is weekly. Damn. Daily. So go down to daily and see if you can reach that point on a daily time frame. Now, price closed as a what? As a bullish candle. Disregard this. First of all, disregard this. Don't say, okay, we have a break here, and then price came back and break it. Disregard this. How did the candlestick close in particular? That is what you should understand. Price close as what on a monthly time frame, price on a weekly time frame as a bearish candle. This is where we are heading to. So now ask yourself, where do you think price needs to break first of all if you are going to go long term? This is where price needs to break. Do you understand me? So now the fact that price has closed, now I don't trade Bitcoin, right? So now the fact that price has closed as a bullish candle, right, means that this is our entry. But now price is coming down, you're buying. Eventually price closes as a bullish candle. So in this situation, right? Normally price has broken a structure. This is a break of structure. Now, for me, when I first started, I'll be like, okay, I'll close this market. Right now, if you think your stop loss can't hold it, measure like this is like daily time frame. So obviously it's gonna be a long stop loss. So now for me, I'll be like, if unless price closes outside this box before I can close my entry. Now, price closing like this means that this is where you want price to break. So you can actually take out your positions, but for me, I'll still hold my position because now price is actually bullish. We have a bullish storyline. Price hasn't broken out of this thing yet. See, it is only when price has broken out of this zone, that is when I'll be focusing on like selling. So price is coming down. So you'd have been like looking for entries on like a lower time frame, but this is like daily time frame. So if this was happening on a 15-minute time frame, I would hold my buys, because this is like a very major drawdown because of this week. Now, had it been the week was somewhere here, right? The week was somewhere here, and then you're buying, and then price closes outside here. This is a stop loss. There's nothing you can do about it. You've taken a loss for that day. You don't have to dwell on like, okay, what do I need to do? But now price has closed like this. You now know that if price should break this level, you're buying. And this level too, like this right here. Price eventually broke this level. And then you know that you're buying. Price broke this level. And then while pulling back, you have this first touch, second touch, third touch. Price is buying. So now I have these are the type of trend lines that I like to use. I have this trend line. I have this. I also have this. And I also have this. Right? So now, as for this first one, what I basically like to see is, I like to see something like this, right? Let's say price broke this structure and then it was pulling back, like something like this. Price breaks the structure, right? This is a structure break. This is a structure break. And then while pulling back, you can have this trend line to start selling from. The same thing here. I don't know if I'm drawing it well. Okay. Break. And then trend line. Price has broken this place, and then they touch. Price is going to be selling down. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. Price broke this level. Right? And then pull back. Entry. And then you're buying. So please, guys, just take your time to digest what I'm showing you guys. Because I think maybe you guys will understand SNL break, like the storyline, better than like any other thing. Like just look at how beautiful this is. Price couldn't break that zone eventually. You had to come back to this last zone. Couldn't break that zone. And eventually couldn't break this zone. When he respected that zone, he had to come down and closed as a bullish candle. And as you can see that when price broke above this zone, that is when price was actually buying. So in terms of SNL, my break of structure is always and always an engulfing candle. Always an engulfing candle. Always and will always be an engulfing candle. So price rejected from that zone. And I know definitely this is where we are heading to. So if we put a line here, it's very profound. So if you put a line there down to that level, go down to your daily. Oh, my bad. If you put a line, price is gonna head down to this level. So you go down to your daily zone. What am I even doing? Go down to your daily. Now ask yourself, where do you think price should have broken first of all if we wanted to buy this market? Isn't this evidence that this is where price wanted to break? Even when price tested the we're able to break and eventually, let's say would have had like a lower time frame entry from this zone. Price eventually broke that zone. And that's the reason why you see price came to our TP zone like extremely fast. Price came to our TP zone. Even when it never touched our TP zone, you can see that it maintained every resistance that formed. Every resistance that formed. So it was still, we're still bullish. Like bullish storyline. And price eventually broke this level and we're reacting off this zone right here. If you go back to your weekly, is the reason why we're even selling the market in the first place, because price was reacting off this zone right here on the weekly time frame. As you can see, price went through, tested, went through, tested, went through, and then that's why that zone was the zone of major consideration. And it is obvious that when price was reacting to this level right here, right, this would have been our zone of major concern. This would have been our target on weekly time frame. So I'm going down to my daily. And like if price is supposed to come down to this level, this zone, first of all, this is like the main major zone that needs to break. If that zone will break, the next thing will just be looking for follow-ups on the daily time frame. So this is like the daily time frame. Go down to your daily time frame. So now eventually inside this weekly zone, I had this zone as my refined zone. But I'll be playing daily to daily. So basically, I knew I was gonna play to this level, and if this level is being broken out of, we are heading to this place. So price closing as a bullish candle. You go down to your 4 hours. Now ask yourself, price close as a bullish candle. You're like, if this is the zone that needs to break entirely. If that zone doesn't break, we are not buying further. So now this 4 hours is quite short. So like, what's the point? But if you wanted to trade 1 hour, I've gotten an entry here, but what's the point? What happened is price broke this level. As a result, that price couldn't change storyline here. So eventually we had this zone here as our 4 hours. Can draw this zone right here as your 4 hours zone to zone. So price closing here, definitely that this is where you're targeting. This zone here is where you're targeting, and this zone But you know very well that if price should break the zone on H4, we are definitely buying the market. If price should break the zone on H4, right, we are definitely heading down here. So your job is to catch an early entry down here. So you're gonna play H1. So now ask yourself, where do you need to break first of all in H1 before price starts buying? This is where we need to break. And that's why when price broke that zone, this is a pullback, a retest. This is the zone that price needed to break this zone, because this SNL zone, this particular zone, let me change that to 1 minute, 1 hour. As you can see, right? Price tested, and finally broke that zone. And this is just a retest. That's why price was buying. Where were we targeting? We were targeting this zone here, right here. And eventually price got to that level. Price got to that level. So let's say you wanted to have like an early
So
entry
Adam, do
here.
you add your winning trades?
Do I had my Bollinger Bands?
I mean, no, do you add your winning trades, your running trades?
Do I add my running trades?
Yeah, let's say you got your early entry here, and the price hit your TP and it gave another break here.
Yeah.
Do you add more layers to
No,
your trades?
I don't layer, man. Like I don't layer. Now, the only time I can layer is if I have this kind of setup. So that you know that before price should get here, right? You're
Mhm.
definitely looking for M15, change of character. And if price should break here, now whenever there is a break, it's not for you to layer. That's why you need to have an early entry here. Now in this situation, you can see that this is 1 hour and this red candle is far away from your TP zone. So you can play 15 minutes. Now, what I won't play is this zone is quite short. But you can definitely have an entry here, like towards this level. But to me, this is preferable. This is preferable.
All right.
And when price broke this zone, I would have expected. Remember that type of trend line that I talk about? This one,
Mhm.
this one breaks and then comes back to retest. But price never came back to retest. Do you understand? This is to
Yeah,
me, this
yeah.
is like the red validations for trend lines. So eventually, price got to our zone.